Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are still working on getting construction built up. Plenty of labor in Nanjiang, right? Oh, yes. Nope. Hold on. How's infrastructure? Infrastructure is also good. I'm going to build a little bit more construction here. Henan. How do things look in Henan? Plenty of labor available, plenty of infrastructure. We'll build up some construction here as well. We'll build up 3 levels. This number is still looking a little odd to me. This should be recovering shortly, though. Opium smugglers. Qing patrols have caught a group of British smugglers carrying opium to Great Qing. This is a flagrant attempt by Great Britain to bypass the opium embargo. Smugglers? Not at all. We are honest merchants legally carrying our wares into your fine country. Of course we have the proper documents. You wouldn't want us to submit to an inspection of the vessel. I'm afraid that won't be possible. There's a terrible infestation of man-eating badgers in the cargo hold. I assure you, this is all misunderstanding. Get your hands off me. I demand to see the British ambassador. Execute the smugglers. 10% authority deteriorates relations with Great Britain. Or return them in shackles. 10% influence deteriorates relation with Great Britain less. Which do I want more, influence or authority? I think I want authority. Kill him. With that having been said, we'll go back to improving relations with Great Britain. Because I like being friends with Great Britain. I can't build up too much more mining, too much more construction right now, because I'm still building up the necessary mines. But we're getting there. Obviously, opium prices are through the roof, but we have opium plantations here in China? I guess we do. I mean, that makes sense. So, what else can we do with the government? I do have the ability to put the literati into the government. Can't form a government of just the literati, unfortunately. Before we take a look at this, heir apparent is also a traditionalist. He is Yuji Aisin Gyoro. Our current emperor is Daoguang Aisin Gyoro. If I put the literati in there, what can I get done? Not much, with the scholar officials still mad about the whole peasant levies thing. But maybe eventually I'll be in a position where I can do something. I think we'll build a few more rounds of mines. And then with a decent amount of construction in the back pocket here, we'll... but I want to build a little bit more. But I don't have infrastructure in Beijing, so I can't... The game's going to force me to leave it at an uneven number, which is going to make me big mad. Furious, in fact. I can definitely afford to construct at the current rate for some time now without having a problem. So I think that's kind of how we're gonna play it. Someone's buying our tools. I mean, that's fine. That's good for our tool manufacturers. I'm okay with that. I'm definitely not salty. Someone's just buying my tools. But this is good. We're working at dealing with the opium crisis, and that is very good. And our convoys are coming back, which means hopefully relations with Lanfang are going to improve now that they're not completely cut out from our market. Speaking of which, West Borneo's all estate. Lanfang, my friend. My friend. My great friend. Have more of you. Enjoy! Obviously we got some trade routes inactive. What if I close out those trade routes? Will that save me some convoys? A little bit. I don't need this trade route. The British are still big trading partners. Again, I would love to build up a little bit of navy, but I'm so choked on construction still, even at this time. Just due to my shortage of iron and tools and all that. And my ability to import iron is pretty limited. Can I import tools? I guess I can. Well, so I'll do that. I will continue to import tools and iron in order to do as much construction as I can. Because I'm trying to jumpstart this economy, right? That's the goal here. We're trying to jumpstart the economy, get tools going. I'm currently at low taxes. And I've got a big buffer, so I can afford to go up and look at this projected increase in revenue. 50,000. So I can definitely afford a significant increase in expenditures as things go on here. Alright, tool situation's doing a little better. I think we'll move that up in priority. Ooh, gold discovered in North Jilin. Where is North Jilin? It's here. How much infrastructure is there? Not much, but I can build ports. But it's gold fields right now, and that's okay. That's just cash flowing straight into the treasury. Ooh, trade deal with Russia? Don't mind if I do. Relations with France are continuing to improve. They wouldn't desire a defensive pact, which is a shame, but it is what it is. British are still accepting our improvement of relations. Prussians we can't improve relations with. Let's improve relations with Portuguese. We're not rivals with them, are we? Doesn't look like it. Ooh, and Golden North Heilongjiang as well. I've always gotten confused about the IA. The IA vowel cluster in I guess, what did I say, Romanized Chinese? I don't know actually what the main, I think it's, I'm not going to pretend I know exactly what language, because I know there's multiple languages that are spoken in China, just sort of on a ground level. And I think the official language is Han, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not going to say making that up. I'm not making it up, but I could just be wrong, is the phrase I should be using. But I think in Romanized Han, the IA is pronounced Ya. But I've seen a lot of... in particular, there are a lot of people who say... I know that Chiang Kai-shek has the IA in his name, but there are a lot of people who pronounce Chiang Kai-shek Chiang Kai-shek, and so that's really the source of my confusion here. It might be something specific having to do with his name or that particular situation. This whole construction sector not getting all the employment that I need thing is really starting to increase my salinity levels here. Let's take a quick look at my decree situation. What am I doing? I'm doing road maintenance. I can cut road maintenance. I don't need faster construction in those areas, but I need to be focusing on building up my mining industry, because that's really the thing. Southern Manchuria, which I've already got going. Hebei and Shaanxi. So, decrees, encourage resource, industry, Shaanxi and Hebei. There we go. Perfect. I nailed it. I'm short on infrastructure in Beijing. The only way that's going to get fixed is if I build up ports, and I don't have the ability to do that right now. Investment pools being a little stupid, building in places I can't afford. I am going to throw that in at the top because I desperately need infrastructure in my capital, because if no one can bring goods to my capital, the whole situation is totally goofed. Alright, iron situation is getting fixed. We're working on a tooling situation as well now. That's good. So, let's throw a couple more construction sectors into construction. This is a reasonable, sensible economic policy that I definitely will never regret. Regret, that's my middle name. Got a sizable number of loyalists. Again, don't pay any attention to the number of radicals. It's gone down significantly. I got a lot of loyalists. That's what's important. again, we're in China, so the effects of all policies are a little outsized at this point. Can I throw any more generals into being here? See if I can depower my scholar officials. Not that much. Scholar officials too powerful. Devs, please nerf. Just kidding. I'm going to nerf them. I'm the devs that are going to nerf them, and I'm going to do it by changing the laws and industrializing the country. I'm eventually going to have industrialists with enough power to actually change things in China, but for the moment, I don't have that, and I will not have that, and that just is what it is. Why am I being weird and retentive about the order in which these buildings are built? It's because I'm weird and retentive. That's what Confucian scholars have to say about it. Surveys have shown that the Let's Player is weird and retentive. The Ningxia Political Union. Organizers affiliated with the peasant movement, which we have one of, have founded an organization devoted to fostering popular participation in politics in the Ningxia region. The direct cause of our land's woes, the speaker proclaimed, is the concentration of power within a class which is predisposed to idleness and conspiracy. It is our duty, then, to collect the efforts of the industrious classes against their manipulators, and to bring them to a great moral confrontation, a contest of political truth and right against political despoliation, and wrong. It was a good sentiment, thought one listener, if one was predisposed to charity. If one was not, you dreaded to think how poorly one could interpret such conspiracy. The people have begun to make themselves heard. Stronger peasant movement, stronger political strength for all pops in Ningxia, or order this shuttered before it goes out of control. 5% of middle stratum pops and 2% of lower stratum pops become radical. I'm going to do the first one. Having a stronger peasant movement is cool and good, actually. Getting a gigantic land reform situation going will be useful. And I know there's a way I can use that to get stuff done. Gold rush in North Jilin. Gold has been discovered in North Jilin. People from all corners of the earth are converging there, confident that they will discover the next great lode and become incredibly rich. It was a single misplaced foot in the river that started it all. His son quick at his side, hoisting him from the water before the currents claimed him. Then, as the sediment rose with both his leg and his walking stick, they saw it, the unmistakable shimmer of Plutus's very blood. By the next morning, they were both at the river with sieves and shovels, and by the night, the whole town had joined them. Our options are spread the word, 25% migration attraction, 125% extra migration attraction in North Jilin, or mine, it's all mine, 75% instead of 125%, so less, but 20% goldfields throughput. I'm going with the second one because I love money. Do I want to queue all my other construction sectors to the top? I think I do. So that's going to obviously cost me a bunch more cash and iron, but I can afford to increase taxes, and I can afford to operate with a deficit for a little bit now. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, I can't go into too much debt, because that's going to make my fragile unity situation a little bit rough. But what I can do, again, is continue to build up construction sectors. Now, how much is in the investment pool right now? Investment pool's got $500,000 in it, which is not bad. They're slowly building up industry, but it'll build faster the more industrialists I've got. So my goal here is to just continue to get stuff built. The future of building is building. And again, these construction sectors are going to cost me a pile of cash, but it's going to be worth it. I got a little bit more authority to play with now. Southern Manchuria, or Inner Mongolia, you've got iron mine capacity that is going to be used. So I'm going to throw in the necessary... I'm going to throw in a road maintenance decree right now, and then I'll swap it over to the mining industry one later on. How does that make the market look? That makes the market look pretty alright. Tools are doing okay. Iron is doing okay. Obviously, iron is growing more expensive as I build more construction sectors. But alternately, that should lead to increased mining. Surely. Well, at least it will eventually. Yeah, they're all profitable now. it's good to be selling iron in an iron shortage as we try to get all these construction sectors built up. I spared no expense building mines. All right, let's go ahead and hike taxes. Again, it's not strictly speaking necessary, but once I'm at a 38k deficit, you know, you gotta. Once you're there, you gotta be conscientious. But this is very good. This is a very respectable construction speed for this point in the game. And importantly, getting all these universities built is gonna be just excellent. Super duper useful. Now, I'm gonna need more tooling actually to make this process work. So, let's take a quick look back at the tooling workshops. Ones in Beijing are not hiring sufficiently. The ones in Shanxi can be built up a little bit more. We've got plenty of labor and infrastructure there. And we'll queue in a few more in each of these other areas to keep those working. Ah! The General's Misfired Cannon, which I think should be called the Dishonorable Discharge event. But anyway, an affair between Guan Yu, who is a traditionalist general associated with the scholar officials, and Nalan Ning, who is the head of the scholar officials. An affair between Guan Yu and Nalan Ning's spouse has reached our ears, threatening to affect his public image if we don't destitute the general. As if being caught in the act wasn't enough, Guan Yu stepped from the bath to see a telltale rash spreading. There was only one liaison he was seeing. Now there was no denying it, not after the general's very flesh betrayed the affair. We still need a general, and these are personal matters. 10% chance our leader of our scholar officials becomes an alcoholic, based, and then they both get syphilis and the armed forces get salty. Or we cannot trust a man like this. He'll step down. Nalan Ning will get syphilis, and the armed forces will be happier. We'll make him step down. We'll just pull another general in. It's not that big of a deal. Let's go with a Confucian scholar. Anyone not from the scholar officials? No? Okay. All right. Well, we're continuing with what we're doing then, I suppose. A foreign manifesto? How could this happen? The recently translated works of Yalaganga Bunarong have become popular within the absolutist movement. The relationship has developed to the point of Yalaganga Bunarong openly endorsing the movement. And for a whole large class, there is no other road, especially for a nation so eminently practical as the Qing. The great thing is to get the working class to move as a class, that once obtained, they will soon find the right direction, and all who resist will be left out in the cold with small sects of their own. Our struggle is an international one, stronger absolutist movement, where this foreign interference ought to be punished, weaker absolutist movement, slightly increased activism, petite bourgeoisie, angry and weaker. Absolutist movement, ought to be punished. Let's weaken that movement. 10% activism is still 0. 10% of 0 is 0. Eat your math, or whatever the children say. No, that's what adults say to children. The adults still tell children to eat math, right? Am I out of touch? It's the teachers who are wrong. They're just being goofy now. Artistic inspiration. Enthralled by the beautiful romanticist artwork produced by American artists, the literati have begun lobbying in favor of closer ties with the United States of America. American Impressionism. The words now seem to fit together seamlessly as French wine or Chinese silk, acquiring a greater meaning than the sum of their parts. He could spend the rest of his life in this gallery, import enough masterworks to coat every wall in his home, and yet remain just as enraptured as he was when he first laid eyes on it. Each painting was a window into a culture he could spend a lifetime attempting to comprehend, each brushstroke driven by a vigor which had grown from a foreign sea. How much could he understand about the United States of America through these, if he but had the time and the ability? What culture? A new pro-country lobby is created for the Americans? Or what culture? Weaker literati. I'm going to go with the first one. I'm happy to have a pro-American league. Hey, America. Let's be better friends. Now, once I get done with this round of mines and tooling workshops, which I am going to do in an interspersed manner. Yeah, because we still need a lot of tools and we still need a lot of iron to make tools out of. I think after that, though, my goal is going to be... Ooh, pollinator surge. I love that. Brunei's improving relations. Alright, so Inner Mongolia. We built the mines. We built some of the mines. So, decrees. No road maintenance. Resource industry. What was I saying? Yes, once we're done with these universities, then it's going to be time for some naval expansion. Nothing too drastic here. Let's get let's get frigates built up. And we'll get some capital ships in each of these fleets. Perfect. And what that'll do... Cambodia wants us to support their independence. I don't particularly care about that. Dynam is in the British market anyway, so that's not gonna... It's gonna draw me towards conflict with the British, and that's not something I want to necessarily have to deal with. This is very respectable. 18 construction sectors in 1840 as China, very good. Trade agreement with Spain? Absolutely. I would be delighted to have a trade agreement with Spain. I couldn't be happier trading with Spain. The trade with Spain stays mainly in China. The new block of the Unity League, America. You salty dog, you. You're part of the Unity League. What's the Unity League? It's a trade league focused on internal trade. How interesting. I should form a power block. Write in the comments if you want me to form a power block. If you want to have more of a say in what goes on in the channel, follow the community tab, because I'll do polls there and stuff. The temptation to continue to grow my construction sector is extremely high. In fact, I'm going to build a couple more. Just because I know you love it when I'm frickin' incorrigible and do things inefficiently all the time for funsies. We're going to build up the construction sector. That's going to get us up to 20, and that's going to be just fine. The Yichang Advocate, an explicitly partisan newspaper founded by members of the peasant movement in Yichang, has published its first issue. Between advertisements and political cartoons, it hosts ruthless critique of government policy. There was a certain brilliance to it. By printing it on the cheapest paper, by skimming on ink, by flooding it with advertisements and large text, one could produce a profitable paper for only a penny per copy, while its competitors sold for 5 to 10 times that amount. By making that paper relentlessly and shamelessly endorse a certain viewpoint, one could have every working person in the city aware of it by evening. If one's competitors refused to stoop that low, they would become responsible for their own suffocation. How long can a partisan paper last? Stronger peasant movement. Or, is that so, deny them a printing license? Weaker peasant movement, but slightly more active. I'm going to allow them to. Again, stronger peasant movement, good for the country overall. Sun Yat-Sen believed land reform was critical for the achievement of a free and politically independent China. So that just stands to reason that the peasant movement's going to be part of our politics. Because Sun Yat-Sen's political theory is basically where we're going to draw our general way of operating from in this run. We're going to be doing the three principles of the people, which is nationhood, welfare, and I think it translates directly to political governments, but it means political freedom in the sense of like participation in government. Or participation in the governance of the country by regular people. So that's what we're gonna aim for, and that's gonna mean we're gonna try to make a democracy happen eventually. We're not gonna go too far too fast here, but there will come a time when we're doing big democracy. Ooh, line infantry. Okay, this is excellent. So from here, we're going to start slowly upgrading our armies. Starting at the top. That's going to cost us a lot of money, but it's going to be worth it because we're going to be able to finally have something like a chance of fighting against European powers. And there's the cotton gin. Beautiful. Alright, cash flow seems to be doing good. Let's get the second one started upgrading. Again, I don't want to go too far too fast here. Okay, alright, it's starting to cost money. Small arms shortage. Alright, so the arms industry should be maxing out employment, which they are now. So we're producing more and more guns. And there's mass communication. Wonderful. That gets us actually a little bit more authority to play with. So, let's go ahead and institute another consumption tax. Where's my authority? It's gone. Okay, that's curious. Some wizard ran away with my authority. Gosh darn it. We'll probably do luxury furniture next. And there's paddle steamer, which, you know, we needed to get eventually, but still. Alright, we got medical degrees spreading. And Napoleonic warfare. Beautiful. Oh, that's perfect. Napoleonic warfare is the thing we need more than anything else. Right, let's get upgrading. Cash flow is still doing just fine. As we build up our tooling and mining industries. Obviously, I'm in the process of making everything cost more right now. Or cost the government more, really, is what the way I should be saying this, because I'm simultaneously improving the performance of the armed forces, while also starting building a bunch of universities that are going to cost the government money directly. But it's going to be worth it, friends. It's going to be really, really worth it. Long term, we need these improvements in order to be able to function as a nation. And iron is still crazy expensive. Chitral wants a trade agreement. You know what? Sure. That's fine. Dye works accident. Several workers died today at Zhejiang Dye Works when an industrial-sized tub of hot dye accidentally spilled out over the workshop floor and the unsuspecting workers. Locals are upset about the incident, claiming that the poor safety regulations in the hot and dangerous workplace are to blame for the accident, and are urging the government to take action. As rescue workers leave the scene, several workshop employees were left dying. We shall all die sooner or later. Mortality and radicalism among the laborers there. Or they shall not have died in vain. Mortality and stronger trade unions. I'm going to go with the second one. I don't want radicals, and having stronger trade unions will not be a problem for me because my trade unions are weak as heck. Alright, soon we'll get these universities built. Oh, so the actual answer to the question of why I'm building up these navies is because that's going to give me extra power projection. Extra power projection is going to give me more interests globally, which is going to be useful. Markets are doing alright. Markets are doing alright. I'm still importing a bit of iron, but not as much as I could be. Bureaucracy's holding. Don't have as many convoys as I should like to have. Let's take a moment to look at our ports. Okay, I do have commercial ports active for all of my port situations. Now that I'm building universities, let's go to secular academia on that. That's going to make the literati stronger, which is what we need. I'm going to build a couple more levels of ports in the capital, because the capital is still... I know I'm just delaying the construction of these universities, but I've just got so many needs. Addiction recovery. Ooh, this is good. In Zhejiang. The measures Great Qing has taken to address the opium crisis are paying off. Citizens in Zhejiang have made a full recovery, and similar progress can be observed throughout the region. I've been numb to all thought and feeling, bedridden and oblivious. To be able to move again, to think and feel and love all the joys which the world has to offer, and yet I still feel its allure. I must resist. Redouble our focus on caring for the sick, +1 standard of living, reduced mortality, or their love of opium should be replaced with love of Great Qing. 30% of pops become more loyalists, and the state gets love for the state. 50% loyalists from political movements for 2 years. Yeah, we're gonna go with that second one. Standard of living was nice and all, but we need loyalists right now. Yeah! Yeah! Look at all those loyalists. Oh, excellent. I'm a genius. So while we're doing that, what if we destroy serfdom? The scholar officials would not allow it. We could go to tenant farmers. They would be furious, but they wouldn't rebel necessarily. The peasant movement would become slightly weaker. I would have significant stall chance, but I would have significant advance chance as well. This is maybe worth trying. Are the scholar officials going to be happier later? A little bit. Framed as foreign puppets. Not sure how that happened. We'll wait a little longer. Best to rock the boat as little as possible. Delicious water. Let's build this iron first, and then we'll worry about the other stuff. I guess those ports take some time to actually build. But that is what it is. Someday we'll have an explosion in literary, in literature and education. Once I get these freaking universities that I've been talking about this whole time built. I'm actually going to need to queue in more of them. I think that's what I'm going to do. So, where am I currently building universities? That's the first thing to ask myself. Those are these areas. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to throw 2 levels of universities in all of these states. And Shanghai is incorporated? Is unincorporated. Alright, perfect. That's good. And that's going to provide us with the innovation that we need to become a leading world power. And maybe at some point in there we'll also build some more paper mills. Which raises the question, where actually am I producing my paper? And it raises an answer, which is everywhere. Portugal has expelled our diplomats. Well, Portugal, you enjoy that, buddy. Currently pulp pressing, but we're not going to get a better method for a while on that, so that simply is what it is. Let's build up Western Hebei and Eastern Hebei. Hebei will be our paper hub. Well, they expelled someone else too, so maybe it's just a general wave of expulsions. Surely nothing to worry about. Anyway, I've got line infantry now, so I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway, that is all the time we've got for this episode, my nerds. I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun. See you on the other side.